走唔甩噶啦，想走啊，跳落啊！
我嚟吩咐你啊，你唔好上嚟啊！
過去啦，走啦！
The story begins by revealing a casino where there is a player who continuously wins without suffering a single loss. The casino manager zooms in on the surveillance camera to ensure who it is, and after seeing the ring he keeps toying with, the manager can finally confirm that the man is a player who will never lose in any game. He possesses no clear photo identity, but his name is very famous and respected by players in the gambling world. He is the god of gamblers, Ko Chun. Right now, Ko Chun is being challenged by a player from Japan who wants to test how great his abilities are. The first game is Mahjong, which I personally don't really understand the system of, but the point is, Ko Chun is able to very skillfully win that first game. The second game is a game of dice where this Japanese man swaps positions with his subordinate, who is indeed a professional dice player. Judging from his tattoos and hand movements, it is clear he is not some small-time dice player. That is when we will see just how sharp the instincts of a god of gamblers are. The nickname bestowed upon him is clearly not just empty talk, because his ears are clearly more sensitive than a normal person's. This allows Ko Chun to already guess the result of the woman's shake. It is Ko Chun's turn to play. He asks for the dice shaker to be replaced with one that is heavier and harder. The shake of a true man is clearly faster and more skillful than that of a woman, to the point where he shatters one die, resulting in a crushing victory for Ko Chun. That challenge turned out not to be without reason. This Japanese man in fact has a hidden motive, asking for Ko Chun's help to defeat a gambler from Singapore who drove this Japanese man's father to bankruptcy and suicide. Because he had also once contemplated suicide, Ko Chun finally agrees to help him. And as a gift, the Japanese man gives his best bodyguard, a Vietnamese man named Lu Wong. Let's just call him Dragon. This is the guy. Dragon, who has a background in the military, is assigned to guard and protect Ko Chun until the time of the match arrives. We will be taken to another place, more precisely a small-time gambling den. There is an amateur gambler named Michael Chan. Michael loses very often and knows he will lose, but still he always comes there. In the afternoon, Michael is seen with his girlfriend named Jane. This is her face. While they are walking on a small street, an Indian man appears bringing two fierce dogs that scare Jane. Even knowing he is wrong, he refuses to apologize. As a result, Michael, together with his best friend, plans to prank the Indian man by making a trap so he falls and rolls over, where they deliberately place cans on the fence so that when he falls, they can know it. Returning to Ko Chun, who is watching his disciple play alongside several professional gamblers. One of them is a rich man named Nam. This is his ugly mug. When his disciple continues to suffer losses, Ko Chun decides to step in, which makes these gamblers a little bit jittery. As a god of gamblers, Ko Chun in fact is not always serious in every game. Even when his cards are bad, Ko Chun casually ghosts these gamblers by raising the bet, which surprisingly makes these gamblers back down without knowing that Ko Chun's cards are truly very bad. The game continues until only Ko Chun and Nam remain. Nam, who has a big ego and refuses to lose, recklessly raises the betting amount exceeding what is on the table, which in the end makes Nam regret it because he suffers a defeat and a loss in a strictly large amount. Ko Chun, who already understands Nam's character, is well aware that Nam will definitely not be sincere about his defeat, so Ko Chun deliberately orders his driver to go home first, while he himself will go home by train. And sure enough, Nam tasks his subordinates to intercept Ko Chun's car. When successfully intercepted, the driver is forced to speak up that Ko Chun has taken the train. That is when we will see the ability of Dragon, where he is able to beat up several of Nam's subordinates quite easily, signaling that Dragon is not just some random person. Worried about Nam's other subordinates, Ko Chun assigns Dragon to take care of the rest, while he himself decides to get off at a remote place on the outskirts of the city, which turns out to be the small street often passed by Michael. Coincidentally, the Indian man is there with his 2 fierce dogs.
我喺香港出世㗎，你好行開，唔係咬親你唔關我事㗎。
Who knows what kind of gift Ko Chun possesses, to the point he can make these 2 fierce dogs terrified. However, when Ko Chun is about to continue his journey, he accidentally steps on the trap made by Michael, causing him to roll over and hit his head on a rock.
阿差賴嘢，黐㗎你，個陷阱係我哋整㗎嘛，進去醫院咪好大鑊。
Michael is forced to bring Ko Chun to his slum house. When they check his wallet, there is no ID card or relative's number that can be contacted. So Michael and friends are forced to take care of him until Ko Chun truly recovers again.
佢成個細路仔咁，
直情一大好還出嚟咁樣。哎呀，食飯先。
Unexpectedly, that incident turned out to cause Ko Chun to experience amnesia and also possess a personality like a small child. This condition is actually exploited by Michael by inviting Ko Chun to a gambling place. Even though Jane forbids it, Michael still brings him, because Ko Chun still has the last of his savings that he brought.
大你300萬咁講啊！
嚟，行啦。
To the boss who owns this place, Michael claims that he brought his cousin from overseas, who is quite wealthy. So without hesitation, the boss is willing to accept Michael's challenge to play cards with Ko Chun. One interesting thing that is not lost from Ko Chun is his hobby of eating chocolate, more precisely chocolate wrapped in golden plastic. Even though he is currently losing his memory, Ko Chun still loves eating his favorite chocolate. Time to play. Michael and his best friend continue to flank him, telling Ko Chun to play carefully and not just randomly raise the betting amount. The boss, seeing this, eventually becomes annoyed and orders the 2 of them to just shut up and let Ko Chun play alone. And the amazing thing is, even though Ko Chun is losing his memory, his ability and level of sensitivity as a god of gamblers apparently did not vanish along with it. In this moment, Ko Chun's face looks very serious, as if he is truly unleashing all his abilities, which finally makes Michael and friends profit greatly from that game. That victory makes Michael and friends become curious about who this Ko Chun actually is, because he is almost like the character Domino in the Deadpool movie. If you know, Domino is one of the characters in the Marvel movies who is a supervillain, the only one who can manipulate luck. So whatever she does is surely lucky. The decisions she takes are always right. Essay exams, surely she always gets a score of 100. Now in this trial, Ko Chun is proven capable of changing the card in his hand. Who knows how, but when Michael deliberately hides 2 cards, namely the 3 of spades and 3 of diamonds, surprisingly the 3 of diamonds card suddenly moves to Ko Chun's hand. At the same time, changing the card in his friend's hand into the king of diamonds, so extraordinary, right? From there, Michael and friends continue to utilize Ko Chun by playing gambling in different places, until finally they succeed in raking in very much profit and are able to buy a car for the first time. Because they splurged too much, the money from the winnings instantly vanished in a flash. So, Michael decides to borrow money from a loan shark who is good friends with Bobo Ho. He is named Uncle Singh. This is his mug. Not wanting to waste time, Michael immediately takes Ko Chun to a gambling place. Ko Chun, who cannot get his favorite chocolate, appears reluctant to play, so Michael asks his best friend to buy some chocolates desired by Ko Chun.
去買啊！
When coming out of the toilet, Michael is made very surprised to find out Ko Chun has spent all his betting money, where that was due to Ko Chun's annoyance at not being able to get his favorite chocolate. As a result, Michael, who is annoyed, leaves Ko Chun on the side of the road. When Michael is about to go home, he doesn't have the heart to leave Ko Chun alone, so he decides to return and invites Ko Chun to go home with him. Because of fear of being collected on by Uncle Sing, Michael brings Ko Chun to move to a brothel owned by one of his friends. Uncle Sing finds out about this and sends his subordinates to capture them both. A chase ensues beside a building under construction, where Michael, acting recklessly, hangs like a monkey between the bamboo, although finally he successfully gets caught too. The next day, Jane comes to Uncle Sing's place to ask for Michael to be released. Jane says that she has brought someone who will become collateral for Michael, namely the god of gamblers, Ko Chun.
Oh yeah.
Uncle Sing asks Ko Chun to show his ability. Initially, Ko Chun experiences difficulty just playing a deck of cards. But when his favorite chocolate enters his mouth, never mind playing cards. Playing a knife alone, he can be so skillful, to the point of making Uncle Sing terrified. After Michael is successfully released, we'll be taken to Ko Chun's house. There is a beautiful woman named Julia, who is the lover of Ko Chun. And not long after, Ko Chun's adjutant or trusted man named Yee appears. Let's just call him Samson. This is his shape. It turns out all this time Samson has been a thorn in the flesh because he possesses a feeling of envy towards the success possessed by Ko Chun. So, with the absence of Ko Chun at this time, it makes Samson start to have evil intentions, wanting to control all of Ko Chun's wealth and also possess his lover, Julia. That is when Samson tries to force himself on Julia. However, because Julia still has dignity and does not want to give away her purity for free, Julia chooses to jump from the room, which makes her die right then and there. And unfortunately, the voice recorder belonging to Julia is successfully discovered by Samson, and the tape is immediately burned. So the only piece of evidence that would reveal his crimes is now gone. As a result, Julia has to die in vain. And how crazy Samson is when he decides to cooperate with Nam. Samson asks Nam to direct his resources and troops to find and kill Ko Chun, so his wealth will be divided two ways, 50-50 between Nam and Samson. Back to Michael and Ko Chun, who are approached by Dragon. Initially, they assume Dragon is a bad person who wants to kill Ko Chun. But when the criminals sent by Nam appear, that is where Dragon proves that he is a bodyguard who is loyal to his boss. Shooting and chasing ensue, which makes them all scatter. Ko Chun, who is terrified hearing the noisy sound of gunshots, chooses to hide and distance himself from the conflict. This actually brings him face to face with Samson, who realizes that Ko Chun has lost his memory, so Samson decides to kill him right then and there. But suddenly, Michael succeeds in knocking Samson unconscious. When Ko Chun runs in another direction, Dragon is there having difficulty, even nearly dying if no one helped him. When Dragon yells at Ko Chun to pick up a pistol, that is where a little memory of the god of gamblers appears. And after slaughtering all the criminals, Ko Chun, who reverts to a small child, is instantly shocked and immediately runs from there. He accidentally trips, causing his head to hit something, followed by being hit by a car which makes his head bleed, until finally he falls unconscious and is taken to the hospital. Due to that incident, Ko Chun finally can remember again who he actually is. When he wakes up, Samson is already there, saying that while Ko Chun disappeared, Julia experienced severe depression, which made her finally recklessly commit suicide by jumping from the upper room, even though we all know that this fool Samson is lying and has become a traitor who is ungrateful. That is when Michael appears and immediately attacks Samson. However, because Ko Chun does not want to remember what happened yesterday, even Michael is actually taken away by officers and considered a person who is hallucinating. After recovering, Ko Chun goes home with a sad feeling. Usually Julia is always there to accompany him. Now Ko Chun has to be alone and cold, without the warmth always given by Julia before. Samson himself is happy with Nam to execute their new plan. Do you remember the Japanese man who asked Ko Chun to fight a gambler from Singapore? Yes. It turns out Nam knows that gambler closely. His name is Chan Kam Sing. Let's just call him Kam Sing. The duel between Ko Chun and Kam Sing has apparently spread everywhere. Gambling maniacs are placing bets on that grand match, which will surely generate more profit. Now, only after Kam Sing succeeds in winning that duel will Nam kill him, so their profit will be double. The betting win, and Ko Chun's wealth will also be controlled. And to ensure victory for Abba Kam Sing, Samson has ordered special glasses along with the cards. The glasses possess technology that can make the wearer see through things, so even the god of gamblers will not have a chance to be able to win the match later. The match itself will be held on a cruise ship. Michael, who is worried about Ko Chun's safety, recklessly disguises himself as a waiter. He tries again to explain that Samson, his trusted man, has betrayed him and intends evil towards him. And if Michael is truly serious with all his words, Ko Chun will chat with him after the match is finished. And in the meantime, Michael is permitted to join inside and asked to be quiet and wait until the match is done. And this is the final battle of the God of Gamblers. The game begins with each of the two sides examining their cards. Of course, Samson the traitor is the one who will examine those cards, which are clearly special cards that have been set beforehand. Not involving deposits, 1 or 2 cents. This game will involve tens of millions of dollars. Ko Chun himself is funded by the Japanese man who indeed has a personal grudge against the evil Kam Sing. The first round begins with betting money of $20,000. Kam Sing, who can see every card, can clearly guess easily. So when his cards are bad, Kam Sing chooses to withdraw in that first round. Round 2, the game gets fiercer. Ko Chun, who is confident, raises the bet up to $5 million. That's insane, right? That amount is very, very much. Even my YouTube AdSense for 10 years will never reach an amount that much. And again Ko Chun loses in the second round. Because as I already explained at the start, Kam Sing with his glasses clearly possesses a winning probability of 100%, even against a god of gamblers. The last round, right when distributing the cards, Ko Chun immediately covers his card while Abba is lighting a cigar, so that one card clearly cannot be seen by Kam Sing, which gives Ko Chun a slight chance to win. Because the investor from the Japanese man has run out, Ko Chun recklessly bets the house certificate and all his valuable assets worth more than $40 million of his personal property. So Kam Sing, who feels confident, joins that bet. So, now is the deciding round to see who is the person who will cry in this match. And how surprised everyone is when seeing Ko Chun's last card is an ace, which means he has a perfect hand, namely 4 aces. I don't understand the game of poker, so I don't really know the name for this type of hand. What is clear is Ko Chun succeeds in winning this last round, which makes all of Kam Sing's wealth vanish until nothing is left.
Jesus, I couldn't believe it.
Not only that, Ko Chun finally reveals a fact that the special glasses belonging to Kam Sing were apparently made about 2 years ago, so those glasses are considered old items. Ko Chun himself wears the same device, German-made, created in the form of contact lenses, priced more expensively than Kam Sing's. That is when Ko Chun whispers to Samson by saying, "You a traitor," then gives him a toy pistol. So when Samson is thought to be about to kill Kam Sing quickly pulls out a pistol and shoots Samson until he dies right then and there. At that moment too, appears Dragon, who immediately points a gun at all of them. Ko Chun, who is intelligent, has planned all of this to avenge the Japanese man's grudge against Kam Sing, as well as avenge his personal grudges for the death of Julia, which apparently was known from the start based on the cassette recording that was not entirely burned that night. After everything ends, the Japanese man is very grateful to Ko Chun, who has made Kam Sing poor and will be imprisoned. When Ko Chun is about to be given part of the money from that victory, Ko Chun refuses it and only wants to be bought one of his favorite chocolates, and he also wants Dragon to become his bodyguard as well as his new trusted man. That is when Michael calls Ko Chun. But with the return of his memory and his life as a god of gamblers, it is impossible for him to be able to remember Michael, who is a nobody. So, never mind, maybe this is his fate. Michael returns to his life as usual, namely an unemployed man who likes to gamble, who doesn't even have one stick of cigarette, let alone capital to play gambling. And suddenly, Ko Chun appears with Michael's grandmother, who has already been bought a 50-gram gold necklace. Ko Chun all this time pretended not to remember him until his revenge plan was finished. And starting now, Michael is made a disciple as well as a partner who possesses the potential to be able to continue his title as the next god of gamblers. God of Gamblers isn't just a classic action flick, it actually drops some serious life lessons, mostly revolving around loyalty and keeping your cool under pressure. The biggest takeaway is that betrayal often comes from the people closest to you, while true loyalty can come from total strangers, like how Little Knife steps up to protect Ko Chun when he's vulnerable, proving that genuine friendship is worth way more than a quick payout. It also teaches you that greed is a trap, and that the real way to win isn't just about luck, but about patience and strategy. You have to keep a poker face, never let them see you sweat, and wait for the perfect moment to outsmart the cheaters, because in the end, true skill and character will always beat out dirty tricks. I'm Jack, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Adios.